Hello everyone, this is Crypto Maximalist. Welcome back to another video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and get involved if you like the content. So having a look at Verasity here, we can see that it has had a pretty wild ride, hasn't it? Let's be honest. This is a very, very exceptional chart. Very interesting indeed. Obviously, with such a low market cap in comparison to a lot of cryptocurrencies, Verasity has a very, very large amount of volatility. I mean, look at the volume right now as well. It's basically non-existent. Everyone is so bored right now in the market. Obviously, not much movements in the price whatsoever because of that as well. You can see in comparison to these levels here where the volume's absolutely massive. I mean, this is orders of magnitude difference in volume. You can see the volume dropping off over time. Very, very interesting chart indeed. Looking like everyone's pretty bored right now. The price is basically chopping it up at around, what is this, 1/4 of a cent right now? Absolutely crazy. Considering that we got up to around, what is this? Almost 9.5, almost 10 cents. We'll say 9 cents to be conservative for Verasity here. I mean, if we just look at the drawdown from that high there down to this current price, down around 95% from the all-time high. Obviously, interesting figures to note. Most people do say in bear markets, altcoins, they do drop 90-95% and then do start to consolidate. And that is basically what we're starting to see here, isn't it? Which is pretty interesting in my opinion. On the daily time frame here, I'm just going to drop in a few key levels that I think are pertinent. Obviously, this one being a massive key level. We've got that all-time high as well, looking something like this. And we do have this very, very key level in and around this area here, we would say something like that. These looking like very, very key levels in terms of, potential support resistance and, bull market reversal area. We'd say this is a very interesting level as well. I mean, Verasity right now, my goodness. I mean, 1/4 of a cent when it was at 10 cents. That is a crazy, crazy amount. Is that a 25x? Yeah, 20. I mean, if it went to 10 cents from a 1/4 of a cent, that is 25x, isn't it? Which is, just back to the all-time high, it's a 25x. I mean, if you went anywhere beyond that, you're going to be, if you put $1,000 in this, it's going 25, 50, 100K maybe, depending on how far you really think Verasity can go. Obviously, we do think this is a project that does have actual fundamentals and actual use case that could be, seeing some really, really good adoption. Obviously, there's no way to know the future, but we do think when we look at projects in terms of fundamentals, it is really important to look at, can the project actually recover? Obviously, people are saying, all these cryptos are going to go back to their all-time highs and beyond and do like 100x, but realistically, how many of them are actually going to have the interest to do that? Obviously, Verasity had lots of catalysts, which saw the price run an extreme amount from this low. You'd say if you bought in somewhere around here up to the all-time high, 24,000%. Very, very, very. I mean, is that 240x? Essentially, it's a massive gain, isn't it? Basically, a huge, huge gain. And currently looking like everyone's lost interest. Verasity is very low volume. Price action's not really moving. Basically looking like it is finally finding some good support and consolidation. Say realistically, we're probably putting a range in between these two levels, looking something like this, where we basically, had this level here. We get that full roll to the downside. We come down, we touch that previous level of resistance here as support. We get we run up to the upside again. We did break a little bit out of our EMAs, but this was basically just correlation to Bitcoin at that point, wasn't it? And looking like we have come down again, and we're basically just at the bottom of the range again. You can see how low the volume is, because some days we're not even getting any actual price movement, which is very, very interesting. But this is just on one exchange, obviously. But you can see very, very clearly that the volume right now is so low for Verasity in general. The price really isn't moving that much at all, and realistically, we haven't really got back up above our EMAs ever since we were up here, really, have we? We've come down and down and down, stuck under the EMAs here, stuck under the EMAs. We get a small breakout, but we get back under the EMAs, massive rollover capitulation, stuck under our 20, so we're in a massive, downtrend. We do start to see ourselves, seeing some bullish divergences here, looking something like this, where basically the price has come down, too overextended to the downside, and then we do get that bounce to the upside here, touching the top, that previous level of structure here, but with Bitcoin rolling over, it got dragged back to the downside. And now Verasity really looking like it's, the volume is low and no one's interested, and we are waiting for, some interest to come back into the market in general, we would say, before Verasity does start to move. It's one of those smaller altcoins that we'd say, you do need to see yourselves back in bull market territory before anyone starts to get interested in buying this again. we obviously see quite a lot of volume for the big cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You know, the top 10, 20, 30 cryptocurrencies really have all still got decent volume and price action, fairly correlated to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But realistically, you know, Verasity being as small as it is, we're going to need to see a full-on bull market most likely before we see a big move for Verasity. And that is probably just the truth, but we'd say realistically the price here recovering. I mean, if this is, you know, you could say this whole thing is one big bullish divergence really. Ever since this low here, the RSI coming up, the price trying to push lower here, but really it's just double bottom back tested that previous swing low wick there, hasn't it really? And you could say maybe this is your double bottom if you do see yourselves coming back up to this level here and breaking out. You could say, you know, potentially seeing reversals in the bull market. But, you know, right now what we're seeing for Verasity is very low volume and interest, isn't it? And that's just as simple as that really. One thing we would say is we're getting back above the 20 EMA here, and the EMAs are getting quite close like this. So if you do see ourselves starting to break above the EMAs, we will be heading up towards the top of the range here. That would be our prediction to the upside at around that 1/8 of a cent level. And if we do roll over again, obviously back down to that, what is it, 3.5 cent level from around this 4 cent, that 3.5 of a cent level, rather than that 1/4 of a cent level, I should say, sorry. So, you know, very simply, Verasity looking like it's come back down to a key level of structure here as support. Previous swing high, resistance flipped into support, looking like it's chopping sideways, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the market before it potentially moves up again. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to check out the links in the description below to support the channel. Grab yourself some free money bonuses, and we'll see you in the next video.